Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren says if you don't fight, you can't win. She has become one of the Democrats' leading voices in Congress. A recent poll in New Hampshire shows Warren would be the frontrunner if that state's Democratic presidential primary were held today, which would be a surprise to New Hampshire voters. She leads former Vice President Joe Biden and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Warren's latest book, This Fight Is Our Fight: The Battle to Save America's Middle Class, is out today in paperback. It accuses the government of working for the wealthy and corporations at the expense of everyday Americans. Senator Warren, welcome back. Before we get to the middle class and the economy, we have this North Korea question. There is a North Korean official apparently coming to America. You said the president doesn't look like he has a strategy, but it looks like his calling off the summit last week seems to have lit a fire under the North Koreans, that 3 hostages had been released, so maybe there is a strategy.
You know, look, North Korea is a bad actor. We understand that. The president had already promised that they could have a meeting with the president of the United States, something that both Kim Jong Un's father and grandfather had long sought. Then it's been back and it's been forth. I want this to work. I want this to work to reduce the threat to South Korea, to Japan, to our allies in the region, to the United States of America, to the entire world. But it really takes a strategy. And I look at the comparison with China. Look at what China's doing. China's got the long-term arc, and it's playing everybody. It's playing North Korea, it's playing South Korea, it's playing the United States of America, because it has a long-time whole-of-government strategy that keeps driving toward an end. At this point, who knows what's coming out of Washington? And look, like I said, I hope it all works.
But to John's point, there does seem to be some sort of a strategy that does appear to be working, because right now, as we sit here, it looks like the talks are on for June 12th.
Well, as we sit here, and I hope it happens, I want to see it happen. But you can't take a bunch of disconnected dots, draw a line and say, oh, that must have been a strategy because I can now draw a line through them. What it takes for a strategy is that you really have a goal, you build up the team to work on that goal. You know, diplomacy is a long and difficult task, and it takes people who know what they're doing. The Trump administration has decimated the State Department so that the very people who are the experts on the economy, who are experts on the language, on the history, who help negotiate these deals in a way that's going to protect the interests of the United States. Many of those people aren't even there.
You say you want this meeting to happen.
Sure.
You mean you trust the North Koreans? You believe they will ultimately denuclearize?
What I want to see is I want to see this work. If the goal truly is, let's see the North Koreans give up their nuclear weapons, of course I want to see that. And I hope that the president is successful at that. But there's a long space between here and there. And it takes a coherent and executed strategy to get there. And right now, it just looks like it's what's the latest that occurred to the guy with the thumbs early in the morning.
Is there anything that he's doing? You know, he gets hammered by the Democrats repeatedly. Is there anything that you can see that he's doing that you can say, you know what, he's doing a good job on that?
Well, look, one thing he is doing is he gets in, he tries to stir things up. That's good if you've got an underlying plan. That's what you really want to see. What are you aiming toward? And like I said, you have to do this. I'm serious about this comparison with a country like China. Think about it this way. Right now, China is investing 9% of its GDP in infrastructure. Roads, bridges, power, right? It's building a future for its economy, for its workers. It's making that economy not only work today, but building it for the future. In the United States, what are we doing? We're spending less than 3% of our GDP on infrastructure, while much of it crumbles around us. The consequence of that is because the Trump administration gave away $1.5 trillion in tax cuts. There's no money there to add to the infrastructure the way we need to do to produce those good jobs today and to help build a better environment for the future.
Senator Warren, let me ask you a question about Democratic politics quickly, because
Sure.
David Wasserman of the Cook Political Report did this tally. In the 65 Democratic primaries so far, with at least one man and one woman and no incumbent, women defeated men in 45 races, Men defeated women in 18. What's happening in the Democratic Party?
Hey, listen, women are coming into their own. Women are using their voices. They're getting in this fight. And that's what it should be. I mean, the title of my book is This Fight is Our Fight, and you better believe it. This is a time when two things are changing at the same time. The first is that there is an attack on democracy. And this is something the Republicans have been pushing for a long time, on voting, on an independent judiciary, attacks on a free press. And at the same moment, democracy itself is rewiring so that people are coming off the sidelines. They don't look at democracy as something that, well, I vote once every 4 years. People are stepping up, including people who are stepping up to run for office who've never run for office before. You know, I want to say, I was a little ahead of my time on this. I never thought I was going to be somebody who ran for office. Yeah. I wanted to be a public school teacher. I ended up as a law professor. I was a policy wonk. But people are stepping up now to run for office, to help people who are running for office. They're in the game, and I love it.
Let me ask you about your book, which is an argument for something, right?
Yes.
Now, do you face a challenge, which is that a lot of people look at the Democrats and they think they're just against Trump? In other words, not for something, but against something. How do you make the case in an environment where we have so much news happening so fast, where you have talked about an assault on democracy, which a lot of Democrats say that's what you should be talking about. Yeah. Others say you should be promoting something before something. How do you work out those two?
Look, I got into this fight long before Donald Trump was anything other than the host of a reality TV show. I got into this because I was watching America shift from a country that really worked for working people, a country that was really about opening opportunities, an America that invested in kids like me. I went to a commuter college that cost $50 a semester, an opportunity that's not out there for kids today. And what I've watched over time, and what I talk about in this book, is how this country works better and better for the corporate interests, for the executives, for the billionaires who have the money to influence Washington, to make it work for them. And as a result, we're getting to be a country that works better and better for fewer and fewer and kicks dirt in everybody else's face. I'm in this to fight back. You know, this is the good part.
Elizabeth Warren, 2020, should they start making up the bumper stickers? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Senator Warren, thank you so much.
Good to see you.